Hey guys, so basically I procrastinated. I was supposed to film this video this morning. It's currently 9 at night. Oops. I just got back from the lesson, so let me change. I'm gonna end up filming and editing this video late, but whatever. As long as it what the heck? As long as it gets out to you guys, my lovely subscribers. Love you all. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Gwyneth and welcome. And if you're not, thank you all so much for coming back. Today is just gonna be like a little sit down video, and yes, I am filming this at 10:18 at night because I forgot to film it in the morning. I'm so sorry, but I'm still going to film it and get it out for you really quick. So this is just gonna be like a little sit down, have like a besties conversation with the two of us, and I'm going to tell you guys how and let you in on the secrets. My hair keeps getting stuck on my chapstick. And I'm going to let you guys in on the secret of how I convinced my parents to buy me a horse. And besides that, I'm also going to talk to you a little bit about how, the process I went through when buying Apollo, when I went to view him. I'll show some unseen footage from when I went to view him, some unseen pictures, etc. Yeah, this should be quite an interesting video. Hopefully it's not going to be too long, so stick around until the end. But before we get started here, I don't know why I keep clapping, but before we get started, I did it again. But before we get started, I wanted to let you all know that I'm very happy to announce that I am officially an ambassador for the Painted Ponies, which is a equestrian business that sells bridal charms and tack charms. These charms are so cute. They're so adorable. I'm gonna order a teddy bear for Apollo tonight because I feel like that completely sums up his personality, and I just need it. I need it. So yeah, you guys should definitely go check them out because all of their tack charms are absolutely adorable. You guys just have to buy them. Yeah. But yes, very, very excited to announce that. But let's get into the video. So first, this was a process. I'm not gonna lie, a process. So I started riding when I was 7, and I started riding actually at a summer camp, and I did this week-long summer camp for 2 years before I started taking actual riding lessons. I took this camp at Chagrin Valley Farms, and that was where I first sat on a horse. That was where I first learned to ride. That was where my love for riding really came through. Through there, I met my trainer, who I'm still with today. I love her so much. Would not leave her for anything. But yeah, I'm still with her today. And ever since that summer camp, I have been asking my parents for a pony, for a horse, repeatedly. Honestly, guys, 1 year later, I still cannot believe that I finally own a horse. Insane. My childhood dream. You guys don't even know how many birthdays I wished for a horse. And my baby Apollo came out of it. He means the world to me. He's so special. I was the kid who wrote letters to her parents, detailed letters. Sat in bed at night and wrote letters to her parents about the reasons why she should have a horse. That was me in 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, even in 6th grade. Constantly asking my parents, if I did this, if I did that, can I get a horse? If I prove that I'm responsible, can I get a horse? And honestly, I feel like they finally gave in because of my persisting, and they kind of got a little bit annoyed with me. But they held it out for a really long time, and they were like, no, Gwyneth, no. We cannot buy a horse. We don't have the money, etc. I figured out that I had to show them. And a big part of this is showing your parents that you can make your own income. So I took up babysitting jobs. I started this channel. I don't get paid from it, but I convinced my mom that I would and that I'd become a millionaire. So I think that helps a little bit, but I did that. I took a babysitting, I got other jobs, and I just found ways to make money. And I also made sure that I got into better spending habits. So I wouldn't spend my money on like random stuff that I found at the store, like this new piece of clothing that I wanted. Like, I'd save my money and I wouldn't just spend it on everything, which I think helped them show like how financially responsible I had become. But that was a big part of it, showing my parents that I was financially responsible and financially ready to handle a horse, and that I made sure, especially, and my parents had to reassure and get like reassurance from me that I would do my part in paying for this horse, and it would not be just them. And before we bought Apollo, or before we went to go view him, my parents told me, like, Gwyneth, like, you do realize you're gonna have to give some things up. And I was ready to give anything up to have my own horse. I was so ready to give absolutely everything up. And I told them that, and that is still true today. And I showed them that too when we were in the process of buying Apollo. And even before that, I was like, because as you all know, I'm also a competitive dancer. Well, if you're new here, well, surprise. But I reduced the amount of competition dances and classes that I took because I wanted to show my parents that riding was something I wanted to pursue out of college and for the rest of my life. And I really showed them that this is what I wanted to do, and having my own horse will help me advance. And my trainer also played a massive part in this whole situation. Well, she only really did one thing, but I had talked to my trainer about this before, and my trainer actually pulled me and my mom aside after a lesson, and she told us that if Gwyneth wants to advance, then she's going to need her own horse, because the lesson horses can only do so much. And if she wants to advance, and if she wants to keep going in the levels, and if this is what she wants to do, then she's going to need to buy or lease her own horse, or like lease a horse from like off property and bring him in. And my mom was like, I don't know about this. Like, I don't know if we have like the funds, the money, and everything. And so we had a long discussion in the car, and that is when I was like, this is what I want to do. Like, I want to ride horses. I want to be an equestrian when I grow older. Like, this is my passion. This is not something that I'm just gonna take and quit. Like all of those failed businesses that I tried starting when I was in like 5th grade. Like, this is not gonna be that. This is a lifelong commitment that I am ready to make. I made sure that I expressed that, and my mom saw that. She saw how dedicated I was to the sport, and she finally caved. And she was like, okay, we can think about it. We can look at a few horses, we can think about it, but we don't know for sure. So fast forward like a week or so later, and my trainer sends my mom and I an ad for a horse. And she said, this new horse just came into new vocations. They sent me pictures, they sent me a few videos, and I think he would be a perfect fit for Gwyneth. She didn't send the pictures or anything first. She just said there was a horse, and if we wanted to view him, he was going to go fast. So if we wanted to view him and wanted to see him, we would have to go now. So in the next day or so, my mom was so skeptical. My parents were so skeptical about viewing this horse. But I just kept reminding them over and over again, like, I'm ready for this. I'm financially responsible enough to do this. I'm responsible enough, and I will take control of my schoolwork. I will stay on top of everything. I will take responsibility for this horse. I will do everything needed. I will do extra work at the barn to help with board and all this other stuff. And I will do anything it takes to buy this horse and to own this horse and to own a horse in general. There was still the issue of the fee, like the original fee that we bought the horse costed, because we did not have the money. Even though it was relatively low for a horse, it was like, because we rescued him, it was still like too high of a price. So sometimes you need to take action and you need to step out of your comfort zone in the whole buying process in order to get the outcome that you want and get the outcome that you deserve. So I called my grandfather and I told him the whole situation. I told him this is what I wanted to do, etc. I told him there was a horse, and he offered to pay for more than half of the horse. This was amazing. Like, I remember this moment so vividly, sitting at my dining room table and bursting into tears after I hung up on the phone with him because I could not believe that just happened, and I could not believe he had just offered to do that for me. And then my other grandparents, I called them up afterwards, and they offered to pay for the other half of him. So sometimes advocating for yourself is all that it really takes in the process, and it paid off for me in the end. And I was really scared to ask the both of them, but here I am today, and I would not be where I am today if I hadn't stepped out of my comfort zone, taken that risk, and just asked, because you never know the outcome. You just gotta ask. You never know until you try. We decided that we were going to go view this special little horse. The first time I walked into this barn and I saw this little, and I saw this little bay thoroughbred with the cutest star on his nose and the snip on his face that took up like half of his nose. I knew as soon as he came trotting over to the gate when we first stepped in and they called him over, I knew that I wanted this horse, and I knew that this was going to be my horse. And his name, fun fact, his name was actually Omar. You can see why I changed that to Apollo. He was not an Omar. No. Never was, never will be. Yeah, I felt like Apollo suited him better. I got to groom him. They told me all about him, all about his racing career, the stuff that happened. My trainer was there with me for this whole time. We carpooled there. We were all talking about it in the car on the way there. And then my trainer was there with us. She asked the owner questions. And then the owner got on Apollo and rode him around for us. She showed some walks, some trots, some canter. And this was when, and I was in love at this point. It was love at first sight, really. Like, even if you guys don't believe in this stuff, love at first sight. It was love at first sight. And my mom fell in love with him too. I was like, Mom, look at the way, like, he moves. Like, oh my gosh, this horse is the perfect hunter. Like, this is the horse that I want. Like, I can see the future. And my mom was like, he looks it. And she even even as she like petted him, and she saw how much like I was in love with this horse, and my trainer was like, yeah, he looks great. He looks like he could be like an amazing prospect. And so on the car ride home, my trainer was like, so do you guys want the horse? And I went, yes, like, yes, 1,000% yes. And my mom was like, are you sure? Are you willing to give up everything? And I went all in. And I was like, yes, absolutely. No doubt about it. Absolutely. I am all in. And I showed her from then on, like, I was all in on this whole horse thing. And so she was like, okay, we're doing it. We're buying him. And Apollo came home a week later. He stepped off the trailer into his new home and into his forever home and his forever life with me. And I know people will tell you, like, don't buy the first horse that you view, but when you know, you know. When you know, you know. When I walked in there, I saw him trotting towards me. The first time he sniffed my hand in the cross ties. I still have the halter that he came in and the bell boots, but one he lost in the pasture, so I only have the one. But, oh my God. And when I pet his little nose and he sniffed my hair, I knew he was the one. And it was like I could like literally see the future. Like I saw a vision and I was like, this is the horse for me. Like, and I think my mom saw that too. She saw how much I loved him, and we came home, we told my dad, well, we just bought a horse. And my dad was like, what? Because it was mostly my mom that needed the convincing. But yeah, that's basically how I bought Apollo. And I know it's not like the most interesting like buying story because I only viewed one horse, but I did have a few other horses like up that I wanted to like look at, but none that I were really like screaming to me, you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure they all got adopted out, which I'm really happy about. They were all from New Vocations, which is where I bought Apollo from. Yeah. I still cannot believe I have a horse. Like, it is more than a year later, and I'm still in shock. Like, whenever I get text, like text from my trainer, like, your horse, like, your horse, like, your horse. And I'm like, my horse. Yeah, as you can see, this is 9-year-old Gwyneth would be jumping up and down. So happy right now. Okay, so here are a few things that I would say to do, like, that I did that helped me convince my very strict parents who were absolutely not open to the idea of having a horse at all before this to buy Apollo. Was first, I proved that I was financially responsible. That is a huge part of this. That is such an important part. Proving that you can handle money, proving that you're able to save your money and not spend it. Second, proving that you're willing to give up things. Give up other things in order to make time and make room for this horse, whether that's having a sleepover with a friend or going to out to eat somewhere fancy or something so you can have the horse. And I was ready and willing to give that up. And my mom saw and my parents saw, like, I was willing to give all that up. And that really helped in the convincing process. You have to make sure your parents know that you are going to chip in on all of this stuff in the horse. That's a huge part about it. And because they need to know that you're going to help them and it's not just going to be a burden on their shoulders. And they need to know also that you're all in. No doubts about it. All in on buying a horse. But my biggest thing, though, is map out your plans for the future to your parents. Explain to them exactly why you need this horse in order to make your dreams come true and in order to keep your future rolling in the path that you want it to go. I feel like that's such an important part of this. And also, getting your trainer on board with it, because I love my trainer. She played such a big role in this as well. Literally would not have been able to convince my parents without her there, like, supporting me. And yeah, well, this was me yapping for 20 minutes. But I hope this helps some of you. I know, like, this is I probably said some really, like, generic things, but stressing all of this stuff, and it's gonna take a while. It took me, I'm not even kidding you, 6 years to convince my parents to buy me a horse. Now, it might not take your parents that long to be open to the idea, but it took mine that long, unfortunately. But explain why you need the horse. If you want to move up, like, this is why I want the horse, like, these are my goals, like, etc. Just map it all out to your parents. Like, make a PowerPoint, make a slideshow, like, it can't hurt. I did that, actually. I did. I made a whole slideshow. I don't think I ever presented it to my parents, but I made a whole slideshow on why I should have a horse and why I was responsible enough, how it could benefit me, like, in any way at all, whether that was physically, emotionally, mentally, like, etc., which played a big part in that, too, because my parents decided, oh, like, she really wants this, like, this could be good for her. This could be a good learning experience for her. And I feel like that's what really pushed them to be like, okay, we're all in. We're all in with you. Like, we're going to buy this horse. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the video. I'm so sorry that it was just like a sit down and talk video. Life got in the way and I just had no time to film anything else this week. But stay tuned for next week, because very exciting vlog, because tomorrow Apollo and I are headed out to the Chagrin Valley Farms Hunter Jumper Classic, which is the biggest show we've ever been to. Crazy, I know, even though it's just a schooling show, but still crazy. So I'm so excited for that, and you guys should be too. We'll be there from Wednesday to Sunday, so super excited to film that whole vlog and share it all with you all. But if you like this video, leave a like down below and hit that subscribe button to join the fam if you want to see more. I love you all so much, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.